Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back for week 190 of Build Your Stash and Craft. Today we are going to do some inlays, and you can use this for so many different things, for tags, for ATCs. You can use it on your journal pages. You can use it on a piece of mixed media art, just anything that you can think of, journaling cards. And so I just have some colored paper. This is our Kool-Aid colored paper. I have some fun foam. I've got my punches, some glue, stick glue and regular glue. I have some cardstock so that we'll make a tag today. And so we'll cut the tag first, and we will cut that, let's say, about 3 inches by, let's say 5 inches. Okay, so I think that's kind of a standard tag size. And I'm going to cut this to make it into a tag, but you could also just round the corners and make it into a journaling card. So I'm just going to cut off that corner. Then you flip it over, and that way you'll get an exact match on the other side. There we go. Okay, so there's our tag, and I'm going to set that aside for a minute. And then what we're going to do is we are going to cut a piece of, let's see, what color do I want on my tag? I think I'll put the orange on the tag. So I'm going to cut a piece of this that is 3 by 5. I'm going to go 3 1/4. No, I'm going to go 3 by 5, just over 3 by 5, so that I can, when I go to line it up, it doesn't have to be 100%. I've got a little bit of playroom. But I don't want too much, because what we're going to do, I want to have it centered, so I don't want it to be too off center. Okay, so this is just a touch bigger than 3 by 5. Alrighty. And so then what we're going to do is we are going to inlay into the orange some pink. Decide which side I want. Alrighty. So I'm going to start with, let's put a butterfly on here. And I'm just going to kind of center it on there and punch it out. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to cut. I'm going to find an interesting spot so that my butterfly's not all one color. Decide where I like the looks of it. Okay, I like the way that one looks. I like the little bit of definition that we have there. Uh-oh, there we go. Okay, and so now we have this butterfly, and we are going to inlay this butterfly right into where we punched out this orange one. We can also then use the orange one to put into the pink one, like that. We can lay it flat. We could put something behind it to pop it up just a little bit. And then maybe let's see, what do I have for flowers? I have this one. Will that come down far enough to miss? I'm going to, what did I do with my tag? Here it is. I want to make sure that the flower is going to miss the top of the tag. So if I were to put a flower there, I don't know if I'd really have enough room to punch a hole. If I don't have room to punch a hole above it, then I will just put a piece of paper above it, because I really kind of want to do that. So I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to center it. Oh, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, so center it. And then let's get a pink one. I'm gonna not get too close to this, because I think I'm going to turn that into a square, put the orange one on it, and then I can use that as a little piece of ephemera. So I'm going to come over here to do the flower. And then I can do the same thing with the flower. So there we go. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this to my tag. Let's get a glue book here. I've got glue on that side, so we'll just open it up. Oh, I already took the top off of this. And I'm just going to put glue all over the whole thing so that I can glue that orange right to my tag. Okay. A couple little really bumpy spots, don't want those. I'm just going to take this. Okay, well, I did not cut this the right size. I thought I cut it a little bigger, didn't I? But I thought that I was cutting it a little bigger, but I did not. I don't know what I did. Let's get that stuck down really well. And then just going to have to trim it. What did I do with my scissors? I just had them here. Here they are. So I did not make it the right size. So I'm just going to trim it to be the right size. Now, I could decide, do I want to cut these edges off? Or do I want to maybe put some lace or some ribbon or something on the edges? Which I think that that's what I'll do. I think I'll leave that like that. And then I'll put something down the sides. So then we'll just take our butterfly. Now, if you have one that has to go one way or another, make sure that you put your glue on the correct side. So I'm going to put the glue on this side. And this one actually I think would fit either way. Some things will and some things won't. And then I'm just going to work on the antenna first because they're kind of like the smallest part. Make sure that it looks pretty good. I think I need to bring this up just a little bit. There we go. And there we go. Now we have that inlaid right into our orange paper instead of being on top. And we're going to do the same thing with our flower. I know I should be doing this on my glue book, but I never think about it. Hopefully this one's pretty symmetrical. There we go. Push that right down into there. And now I definitely am going to have to put a little flip on there because I had to cut off some of the top, and there's not room to put a hole punch on the top of this tag. And there we go. So now we have both of those inlaid into our paper. And the thing is that when it's paper, this is regular paper, it's not as noticeable. It looks like, you know, I mean, you could just glue it on top. Why do you need to do an inlay? Because you want to. But it looks very cool when you have something that's a little thicker. Even like with cardboard, it's very cool with cardboard. I never thought to bring any cardboard out here. But let's see if our punches will. I want to do with the orange. Let's do, not orange, but let's do yellow with the green. Let's see if my punches are big enough to fit onto the foam. And it is. Didn't quite get it. Just going to kind of push it up against the sharp edges of the punch. See if I can get a... It's not a very good shape, so I'm not going to do that. Let's try that again. There we go. That's not a very good punch for the foam. Gets a little bit messy right there. Wow. Can't get that at all. I'll put the messy part where the messy part was. And there we go. Just like that. Now, if you were to put this on clear contact paper, it would be the same on both sides. You can really kind of see that it's an inlay when you've got something that's this thick versus the paper, you know, looks like it is possibly just glued on top. But when you've got something this thick, you can tell that it's not glued on top because there's such a, you know, there's such a difference. So, so it's really fun to do with things like cardboard, chipboard, you know, like cereal boxes, that type of thing. That's a really fun way to do it. And then you just decorate it up however you think you might want to decorate it. And it is really cool, like on something like if you're doing the paper, it is really cool to put it on something like a piece of clear, sticky contact paper, so that one side's not sticky but the other side is sticky, and then when you put it together, then you can see this, and when you flip it over, then you see exactly the same thing. So let me go grab some ribbon and stuff, and let's decorate this up a little bit. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back, and let's turn this tag into a tag. I know a lot of times that I kind of show you the techniques and then I never really finish the project. So I thought today we're going to finish it. And so I grabbed some of my inks, a stencil, some stickers from a while ago, and the pink. First I'm going to just edge around the edge of this tag. So that we can actually call it a finished project. But I really like to do this. It's just a fun thing to do. And it's just, you know, sometimes you want something to do. Some people say, I don't want to do that. It's too fiddly. You know, it takes too much time. And that's totally fine. But, you know, if you're thinking, I just really want something to do, this is a fun project because it's something to do, but it's not like you've done it, it's done in 2 seconds, and then it's like, well, now what am I going to do? So I grabbed one of our background stencils that we did a couple weeks ago, and I'm just going to put a little here and there. Do I have enough ink on my, yep, I do have ink on my, I couldn't quite see it. And let's put a little over here. Some of this is going to wind up being covered up by the ribbon. I'm not going to have any ribbon at the very top, so let's get some stencil up there. Give it some interest, and I have no more ink on my sponge, so grab just a little bit more. And tap that off a little bit so it's not too dark. Put some in here. And over here. Well. Alrighty, so we just have a little bit of that in the background. And do I want any more? I think that's good. Then I grabbed some stickers that we got from a while ago, but first I'm going to put the ribbon on because then I want to put this lovely on here. I had this at the top and this at the bottom so that I could put a sentiment in the middle. And then I saw those stickers and I thought that would be perfect. So I'm just going to glue this ribbon on. And I think that I'm going to let it hang off the edge just a little bit, just for a little extra interest, but not too much. Just get that on both sides. Now, what did I do with my blue book? Oh, I don't know. Let me use the back of this packaging. Kind of want to smooth that out a little bit. I don't want to smooth it out too thin, but I do want to make sure that I have it kind of flattened on there a bit. There we go. If it's too thin, it might not grab the ribbon. So I'm just going to take this, put it on there. I'm going to just leave a little extra so that I can trim it the right size when it gets dry. Put this one on here. And then I'm going to flip it over to make sure that I have approximately the same amount sticking out. You know, nice and even. Okay, now this has a big like whoop-de-doo in it, and I don't like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn it around. It shouldn't hurt anything. I'll have a little glue on that other edge, but I think that'll be all right. There we go. Okay, so let's... Okay, so that's just about under 1/4 of an inch. This one. There we go. That's pretty close to the same right there. So just wanted to make sure that I had about the same amount sticking out on each side, so that when I cut it, it will look pretty even. There we go. I'm going to flip it over and cut this angle from here. And last piece. There, that looks pretty. And that covered up the fact that I made this a little bit too small to fit on my tag. So you can always fix anything that's not quite right. There we go. And then, because this was really close to the top, I need something on the top instead of a hole. Let's see. That's pretty. What if we flip it over? No, I'm going to do it this way. So I'm going to put some glue on there. That's going to be our pull tab. Just because I saw it sitting there and thought it would be cool to have something that's just a little bit different. I like different. It makes your items look interesting. And you get to use up scraps that you may not have. You might have thrown them away if you didn't use it right now. Because at some point you have to pick and choose which scraps are too small to keep, or you will have a house overrun of little tiny scraps. Even if you use them, they seem to multiply. So there we go. A little bit of cute interest on that side with it, and almost looks like a little unicorn tag. So then let's put our sentiment on there. And you could always ink around these, especially if you've done them in cardstock or something. It's hard to ink around paper without kind of messing it up a little bit. And, you know, you do need it to keep its shape. But if it was cardstock or cardboard, chipboard, you could ink around them so they stand out a little bit more, but yet they still fit right into the paper. There's just so many things that you can do. I'm going to put just a touch of glue on the back of this so that it doesn't let loose at a later date. Because a lot of times with your stickers, they stick well when you first put them on, but then as the sticker kind of like dries out or whatever, and we're talking years, so it really doesn't make that much of a difference, but sometimes I just like to put a little bit of glue, and I think I'm going to put this on here at an angle. That looks pretty. And then I had bought these stickers the other day when we made flowers, and I didn't use any of them. So I thought maybe a few of these might look pretty on here. And let's use the orange ones because the pink is, I think, overdone. Let's put, you know what? That's orange and orange, but I saw one down here. Orange and turquoise. That little pop of turquoise would be kind of cute, I think. And that looks like an exclamation point. So let's put it... Ooh, can I move? Let me get that off of me. There. Can I move this over a little bit? You can do it. Let's put it there. A little bit of glue on there. So that I have enough room to put this one on here, like an exclamation point. I can get a hold of it because I do want to pop just a touch of glue on here too. I got some on the edge of the... There we go. That was much better. I could just rub that on there. Okay, now hopefully I can get this in the right spot. There we go. Oh, I like that. That's cute. Then how about if we put a center in the middle of the flower? So we have bigger ones here that are clear. Or do we want a tiny one? I don't want to do that. That completely takes away from... Let's just take this nice clear one here. Well, see? That shows you about them like drying up or whatever. That one's stuck to the plastic. So that's okay. We're just going to glue it on here. I can't tell you how many of these that I have in flat back pearls and stuff that do not have sticky on the back. And when they started coming out with the sticky on the back, it was kind of like, it's so much easier. But then I found that the sticky doesn't always stick, so it really doesn't matter if it has sticky on the back or not. So if you come across some flat back pearls or little diamantes like this that don't have sticky, don't think, oh, I'll have to glue them, because you probably should glue them anyways. So it won't be any harder. There we go. And there is that. Now I'm thinking that the butterfly is awfully large and pink, and that I just want to do something with it. So what I'm going to do, what did I do with the paper where I punched the butterfly out of? The other piece of paper. Let's see. Yep, here it is. Okay. I am going to put that on there. So this is called a mask, when you cover up an area so that only part of it is showing, and the part that's showing obviously is our butterfly. And I'm going to use some orange and our stencil, and I'm going to give our butterfly a little bit of interest. So get those out of the way, get all of this stuff out of the way, put this on here. Now I'm going to have to be careful not to come off the edge down here. So I could either tape this down with a piece of like washi tape that won't, stick and rip my paper. I could put another piece of paper on top of it, or I can just remember, because this is such a small area, I can just remember not to go past. As a matter of fact, if I line this edge, if I line the frame of the stencil up with the bottom of that paper, now I can't go off the edge, I think. I think I've got it lined up well. Now I need a sponge. I don't know how I can make such a mess and lose things in such a short period of time. Okay, so let's, ooh, that orange is really dark, so I'm going to tap a little bit of that off. And I'm going to press lightly. And what I'm going to do now is, because remember I said I wanted to kind of keep that and cut it into a square. So I'm going to just go out around the edge onto this pink paper, which has nothing to do with our tag. But that way I'm not going to waste this by having just a little bit around the butterfly and not being able to use it. So see, now I have it around the butterfly and I can use that. I'll put maybe a little bit right there. Okay, so see, now our butterfly has some interest to it. I like that. And maybe we should put just a little tiny one of these for his head. Let's see what that looks like. Right up there where I want it. Yeah, that's cute. So I'm going to do that, but I'm going to put just a touch of glue on it. If I can get it up now. Oh, I'm going to have to put glue on it anyways because it doesn't have any sticky on it. There we go. I brought the tweezers out to help with this kind of stuff, but then I didn't use them. There we go. Get it right up to the top. And there. So, we have a nice sentiment. We have some background interest. As a matter of fact, I have to say the background interest is not enough for me, so I'm going to add just a touch more. And that's the way that you do it. You just kind of go back and forth until you get it how you like it. So I'm going to put a little bit of, oops, I'm going to put just a little bit of that orange in a couple of areas. Because the orange is so much brighter. And then I'm going to do a little bit more pink, but I'm going to try and get a little more on my sponge. Which is going to be interesting because now I have orange there and orange there, so I'm going to use this part of my sponge. And that's yeah, it's just my pink must be a little dried out. Alrighty, now I wanted some over here. Give it a good press. That's funny because it looks orange, because I used it in the same spot as I did the orange. And now I've got the orange on the sponge. So I guess that background is just meant to be orange. A little there, a little there. Okay. There, now it's not so plain. And I think that that looks pretty good. And now you've got a tag. You can put some information on the back. You could always cover this if you want to with another piece of paper if you don't want the ribbon sticking out or you don't like the looks of this. You know, I like to just leave them like this, and probably I might stamp the back with some lines, but then possibly again not. But I think that looks cute. So today we actually finished the whole project, and that is how you do inlay. Like I said, it's really fun with cardboard, it's fun with fun foam, and it's fun with anything that's just a touch thicker, even cardstock, rather than flat paper. And I had forgotten that until I was doing this, and it's like, oh yeah, it kind of just looks like I'm gluing it on top of the paper. So, but the paper works really well on the clear contact paper so that you can put it on there and see it from both sides. Then it doesn't look like you just glued it to the top of the paper. But there we go. So I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial on the inlays, and I hope that you like the way that the tag turned out. Thank you very much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye. Just a quick one, I forgot to tell you what we need for next week. So for next week, we need some paper clips and we need some pom-poms. Now, when you buy the pom-poms, try and buy a pom-pom. These are made with like felt, so it looks like a solid ball kind of. Try not to get a pom-pom where it's been like wrapped and wrapped and wrapped and then cut. And so there's the spot in the middle where you can tell it's tied together. I hope that makes sense. But you want one that's just like a ball and doesn't have that spot where, even though it still looks like a ball, you can see the spot where the string was tied around it. That's all you can find. It will work, but the ones that are felty work better. And so I got these at the Dollar Tree, and then I got some paper clips that kind of go with them, and we'll need some glue and maybe some little decorations or something, but this is what we'll need for next week. $2 from the Dollar Tree. And now, thank you very much for stopping by, and I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.